These senators are asking the Supreme Court to define how much power the president has. Last month, President Rodrigo Duterte announced the termination of the 21-year agreement which allowed U.S. troops entry for joint training exercises. This comes after the U.S. canceled the visa of his former police chief, now Senator Rolando de la Rosa. That was because of his involvement in Duterte's war on the illegal drugs trade. Senators are asking for the Supreme Court to rule whether Duterte can terminate any international treaty approved by the Senate.
We're simply asserting the power of the Senate. And we have already infused in those treaties and agreements that any abrogation or any termination must pass through the Senate.
Duterte's critics say maintaining the Philippine-U.S. alliance doesn't mean the subservience to the United States.
What is unfolding before us is a national tragedy which should be resisted. As a democratic and Republican country, we do not believe that one man alone can make this damaging choice for our people.
While others are calling for the renegotiation of the terms of the agreement, saying that since its signing in 1999, there have been major shifts in the global balance of power in Asia and that China can no longer be ignored.
We are allowed to defend our country against armed aggression, but we can enter into alliances to defend our country. And against China, which is actually occupying and invading our territory in the West Philippine Sea.
When Duterte was sworn into office in 2016, he promised a more independent foreign policy, moving away from long-standing allies like the U.S. and building closer relations with countries like China and Russia. But critics say Duterte's actions is making the Philippines dependent on China, which is seen as the biggest threat as it continues to encroach on Philippine maritime territories in the South China Sea.
The agreement was created following the rejection of extension of U.S. bases in the Philippines in 1991. The Visiting Forces Agreement implements commitments in the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty, which binds the Philippines and U.S. to come to each other's aid if either is attacked. Despite the pullout, the U.S. military continues to have joint exercises every year involving intelligence sharing as well as disaster response training. Jamela, Alindogan, Jazeera, Manila.